Okay, well, it's just after 1 o'clock, so I'm going to welcome you officially to 10 years and more than 2012 activities later. And it's also the official start of our Summer Together programme. And I'm delighted that in full Summer Together style, we may be indoors, but our BSL interpreter, Chris Burrow, is in a surf shop on the Isle of Wight. So we've got wonderful, wonderful summer energy wherever you are. I'm Dr. Ju Gosling. I'm the artistic director and one of the co-founders of Together 2012 CIC. I'm a white woman with pale olive skin and green eyes behind black plastic glasses. I have a self-styled hennaed corona crop under a grey paper pork pie hat, and I'm wearing a white t-shirt with the Together 2012 logo on it and silver coloured jewellery. I don't think you can see it, but that includes a silver coloured bat brooch from last year's Kitchen Carnival, and we'll be talking more about that in a little bit. Today, I'm going to introduce you to our virtual archives, where you can find out more about our first 10 years. I'm also going to tell you more about our current work and future plans, and show you where you can find details of these on our website as well. If you have questions, please pop them into the live chat and I'll try and answer these at the end. We also welcome your comments. If you haven't used live chat before, under view, Zoom is always complicated. There's two view buttons and you want the top left view button that says view live chat. So thanks very much to Newham Council for supporting this event. We have live captions available, which you can find by clicking on the CC button or follow the link in the live chat if you would rather see the full transcript. We also have BSL interpretation, and thanks as always to all the Access support workers today, interpreter Chris Burrows from the surf shop and live captioner Julie Jacoby from her home. Chris has been interpreting for us for most of our existence, so you'll see her pop up in videos as well. And Julia started working with us when we moved online as a result of the pandemic, so they've both played key roles in our first 10 years too. First, I'm going to introduce James King from Newham Heritage Month. Emily, if you could promote James to a panellist, please. And he's going to say a few words. We're delighted that Newham Heritage Month is focusing on the London 2012 legacy this year. I was involved with the London 2012 equality and diversity work for several years before the Games, working like so many as a volunteer and representing LGBTQI+ disabled people nationally in my role as a co-chair of Regard, the national LGBTQI+ disabled people's organisation. Our chair, Julie Newman, was also heavily involved in the Olympic Park development in her role as chair of the UK Disabled People's Council. Perhaps surprisingly, Newham residents had no direct representation at all. It was pure coincidence that we were both local. Anyway, the world was officially promised a fully inclusive Olympic legacy and a separate but equal Paralympic legacy that would benefit the whole of Newham. I think we're all aware that hasn't quite happened, which makes it even more important that we reflect on the last decade as a community now. So I'm going to ask James to switch his camera on, and Emily, I think if you could spotlight James and just take the spotlight off me for a minute, please.
Hi there. My name is James King, and I am the program manager for this year's Newham Heritage Month. Newham Heritage Month is a annual festival celebrating heritage in the London Borough of Newham, and this year our theme is what London 2012 means to us. The festival is sponsored by the National Lottery Heritage Fund and the Royal Docks team, and I'm very excited to be here today to celebrate 10 amazing years of Together 2012 CIC. Thank you very much for organising this brilliant event, and looking forward to what follows.
Thanks, James, and thank you too for all of the hard work that you and your colleagues have done to make Heritage Month a success. We've really enjoyed taking part in Heritage Month when it's been completely online in 2020 and hybrid last year and again this year. I'm going to start by showing a 4.5-minute film about our first 3 years. We began as a volunteer-led project of the UK Disabled People's Council to ensure that local residents had an opportunity to engage with the Paralympics, with myself leading the volunteers in my regard role. We were originally due only to deliver events during the first 2 weeks of the Paralympics, but as some of you will remember, the London Pleasure Gardens venue by Excel closed part way through the Olympics, and that was where we were due to run our activities. So as a result, we split our events between community venues during the Paralympics and the then new Disability History Month Fest in November, December, still intending these activities only to be for 2012. However, much to our surprise, festival participants asked us to carry on, and not just to continue to deliver events in the summer and Disability History Month, but also to provide year-round activities. In March 2013, we therefore founded Together 2012 CIC with the support of Newham Council's Disabled Microenterprise Scheme, led by the locally based disabled artists, including myself, who were already involved in the borough. By autumn 2013, we were successful in getting Arts Council England project grant funding for our annual Disability History Month Festival, and by 2014, we were also receiving project grant funding for our Summer Together programmes. In 2013, we also began our year-round clubs programme of free creative workshops for disabled people and their companions, with seed funding for equipment and room hire from small grants from the People's Health Trust and others, but working unpaid. We Are Three, which was sort of named after the sort of famous Now We Are Six, is a whistle-stop tour through those first 3 years. So if you take my spotlight off and leave Chris's on, Emily, I'm just going to sort out, I hope, the first screen share.
Together 2012 to celebrate all things good in disability art and the Paralympics as well.
Tanto forte. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You've seen all the movies, you've read all the fairy tales that always show people like me as evil, subhuman monsters and so
What do we want? When do we want them? What do we want? When do we want them?
In society, difference is often marginalised and then stereotyped.
I think art is eternal. It's an eternal thing, and I think people should be able to do it with freedom, and I also think that more people should have access to it.
Is it mine or is it yours? Please say no, that I'm all there, because I want to be intelligent, have my own show and interview celebrities, but my thoughts don't always come collectively.
I imagine with a reason there's no money in this land of milk and honey. I imagine doing
the things she chooses to do. She's going to the Tate and the Whitechapel too. She doesn't take any nonsense from you. That's why the lady needs the ramp.
This has been in a wheelchair from hell. I used to be a social worker and I don't want any sympathy. I am actually in recovery at the moment, so I didn't bring any assessment forms with me.
True stories.
What do you want to show the audience?
We want to show them what happens if they don't include properly.
Thanks. So that was a whistle-stop tour through the first 3 years. Until the pandemic, as you can probably tell, we weren't a digital organisation. However, we've always documented our work using photography and video. We Are Three was created from hundreds of hours of footage taken during our first 3 years. Where possible, we've shared videos and photos of performances and exhibitions on our website so that people with internet access who were unable to get to the physical venues could still see them. And we also used our website from the start to provide as much information about our work and our policies as possible so that everyone can see what we're doing. I'm now going to show you a short video about how our website is structured and where you can find our archives. We're currently in the process of improving the accessibility of the website design, as with so many things that would have been done by now were it not for COVID, and we'll also be introducing an image-based side menu. So bear with me, and soon we'll have the archive video up. This is our home page, where you can find quick links to the activities that are most current at the time. There is also a British Sign Language video, as there is on every main page, describing the content and purpose of the page. We recently added a picture of Paddington Bear to make it clear that refugees are welcome to join in with all of our activities. Everything we do is free and accessible from home, residential care or a hotel room. We produce events, performances, screenings and other activities led by disabled artists for everyone, and a year-round programme of creative workshops, our clubs programme, aimed at disabled people. Our homepage also explains more about us and our work. And it features the late David Morris, Head of External Inclusion at London 2012, who continues to inspire our programmes today. David died suddenly in April 2010, but he had a very strong vision of the potential that the Paralympic cultural legacy offered to improve the lives of disabled people in Newham and beyond. In the About Us section, you can find out more about the aims and objectives we set ourselves in 2013. You can also find out details of our policies in the sub-menus, including our ground rules for participants in our club's programme. We don't ask anyone to prove their disability or to provide unnecessary personal information, but we do ask everyone to respect each other and be kind. Our archive section is sorted by year. Each year can be reached from the main archive page and from the sub-menus at the top of the page. You've seen some of the photos from the original Together 2012 festival in the invitation for today. There are lots more images and details available, linked from the 2012 archive page. You can click through from the page or find links to the sub-menus at the top of the page. The 2013 archive follows a similar pattern. There is a full summary of our achievements in our first year as a community interest company, with links to exhibitions and to the festival programme, which in turn has links to blog entries reviewing each event. By 2014, as I said earlier, we had Arts Council funding for our summer programme as well. We also took part in Newham Carnival for the first time and had our own tent at the Liberty Festival in Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, where we showcased the talents of locally based disabled artists alongside some of the national artists we'd worked with previously. We did this again in 2015, 2016 and 2017, after which the festival closed in East London. In 2015, we continued our Summer Together and Disability History Month festival programmes. A highlight of the Summer Together programme was a graffiti workshop with Graffiti Life, where we created our amazing Together 2012 backdrop. In addition, in February we brought our recycled band to Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park as part of the London Legacy Development Corporation's local programme. We built 12 oversized percussion instruments using recycled building materials and found objects, and installed these in the park for part of the half-term. As part of this, we held a concert, conducted by James Rose, who has since gone on to conduct at the Royal Festival Hall. "2016 was another milestone, as we were successful in being awarded Elevate funding from the Arts Council to develop the organisation further. This was also supported financially by Lend-Lease and Trinity Buoy Wharf. One of the highlights of our 2016 artistic programme was the development of our first piece of original street art, Alien Tourists, directed by the Natural Theatre Company. Alien Tourists was performed again very successfully in Galleons Reach Shopping Centre as part of our 2017 festival. Before that, in June 2017, we learned that we'd been successful in becoming an Arts Council England national portfolio organisation, giving us year-round funding for the artistic programme for 4 years. We also became Newham's first Green Business of the Year, reflecting the fact that we've always prioritised environmental issues because this was a key priority for London 2012. In 2018, we passed another milestone when we received funding from the National Lottery Community Fund to professionalise our clubs programme, and our Arts Council National Portfolio funding also came on stream. We appointed our first 2 associate companies, Act Up Newham as our associate drama company, and Folk in Motion as our associate wheelchair dance company, both of whom are also community interest companies. This enabled us to put the support we've been providing on a more formal footing and assist them to attain funding in their own right. In 2019, we were extremely proud to win the first Rotary Stratford East London Community Heroes Award for outstanding contribution to community cohesion. We also continued to share our expertise with the national arts sector. Our metrics for equality, access and inclusion were adopted by Culture Counts, the Arts Council's national lead on evaluating the quality of arts programmes, and widely promoted. The Together 2012 consultancy continued to advise on access and inclusion in the arts as well. In April, we published a training manual for the voluntary and community sector on organising inclusive events and activities, with funding from the National Lottery Awards for All programme. As a result of this, we published a new resource on our website, What is Disability? We also trained Arts Council England diversity leads on LGBTQI+ and intersectional issues during the autumn. So that's an introduction to our archive. At the beginning of the pandemic, in March 2020, we just moved to a new home at St Bart's Community Centre in East Ham after nearly 3 years of being based at Vicarage Lane Community Centre in Stratford. In 2018, as I said in the video, we were successful in obtaining funding from the National Lottery Community Fund to professionalise our clubs programme. And so we were now running art club sessions from 10 to 12 on Tuesdays and Fridays, the pop-up poetry club from 10:30 to 12 on Wednesdays, a youth together session on Thursdays, and monthly Dance on Scream and photographers and filmmakers clubs on Mondays. And all of these were now being led by professional disabled artists. At this point, most of our participants rarely used the internet and some had never used a mobile phone. But because of COVID-19, in March 2020, everything changed. Our motto has always been, together we are strong, together we can change our world. But we were about to be separated indefinitely, although I don't think any of us realised quite how long. We therefore launched a Join In From Home programme on our website. We set up Together 2012 TV and started live streaming on YouTube 3 times a week to stay in touch with our participants. We commissioned a phone system so we could reopen the Pop-Up Poetry Club by conference call where we pay the costs. We opened up a monthly open mic night on Zoom Together, to replace our music clubs and poetry cafes. And we worked with all of our club's participants to create personalised programmes that they could do from home. I'm now going to show you a short film that we made after our first 100 live stream episodes, when shielding was paused for the first time at the beginning of August 2020. The video combines footage of the work created for the live streams by our club's participants, by our associate drama company, Act Up Newham, who created new work every single week via Zoom during the lockdowns, and also contributions from disabled people watching from further afield. At our August 2020 Zoom Together session, we wrote our own lyrics to the sea shanty, A Drop of Nelson's Blood, to create the Shielders shanty. So you're also going to see the 4 live stream hosts, myself and Julie Newman in London, and Robin and Josh Surgener in the West Midlands, struggling in the heat to sing it live the next day. Again, The fact that our interpreter is in a beach shop is just wonderful, wonderful timing for this. All of our live stream episodes are still available on our website under the Together TV links, together with the highlights and links pages we created after each show, which include the poetry, pictures and other work created by club's participants and other audience members. And we believe this is the only continuous record of disabled people's experiences created during the pandemic anywhere in the country. So if you pop the spotlight off, Emily, I will attempt to make the screen share work. One of the traditions in sea shanties, and one of the reasons we like it so much, is they are songs that anybody can sing. They're also known as chanties, and that's because you can chant them or shout them. And they're working songs, and it's all about the rhythm and all about the work. What I was going to say, I think, is that on a Friday, we always have a bit of music at the end, very often Robin playing us out. Last week, we had Robin's version of I Will Survive called We Will Survive. You can find the lyrics on the website under Together Unlocked Anthems. And last night at Zoom Together, we were discussing, shall we say, the kind of rather adult nature of a lot of shanties, because the lines were each contributed by the sailors who were singing them, and a lot of these songs would have the same rhythm and the same tune, but completely different words. So we are going to try, with you joining in at home, to sing A Nice Cup of Tea, and which is based on A Drop of Nelson's Blood.
Which is rum.
And was given out to the sailors, wasn't it?
Yep.
Together runs, and everybody who comes to Together activities knows this, we run on ample cups of free tea and coffee. So here we go. Oh, a nice cup of tea wouldn't do us any harm. A nice cup of tea wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a nice cup of tea wouldn't do us any harm. And we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. Yeah, we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. And we won't be left behind.
Oh, writing a new poem wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, writing a new poem wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, writing a new poem wouldn't do us any harm. And we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. And we won't be left behind.
Oh, taking some photos wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, taking some photos wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, taking some photos wouldn't do us any harm. And we won't be left behind.
And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. Yes, we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. And we won't be left behind.
Hey.
Oh, a phone call with friends wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a phone call with friends wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a phone call with friends wouldn't do us any harm. And we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. And we won't be left behind.
Oh, an hour with the crochet wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, an hour with the crochet wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, an hour with the crochet wouldn't do us any harm. And we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. Yeah, we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. Yes, we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. And we won't be left behind.
Oh, playing the guitar wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, playing the guitar wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, playing the guitar wouldn't do us any harm, and we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong, and we won't be left behind.
Oh, painting a new picture wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, painting a new picture wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, painting a new picture wouldn't do us any harm, and we won't be left behind.
And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. Yeah, we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong, and we won't be left behind.
Oh, joining in a Zoom wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, joining in a Zoom wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, joining in a Zoom wouldn't do us any harm, and we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive, keep our spirits strong, and we won't be left behind.
Oh, to have a little dance wouldn't do us any harm. To have a little dance wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, to have a little dance wouldn't do us any harm, and we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. Yeah, we'll stay alive. Keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive. Keep our spirits strong, and we won't be left behind.
Oh, shooting a new film wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, shooting a new film wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, shooting a new film wouldn't do us any harm, and we won't be left behind. And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong, and we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive, keep our spirits strong, and we won't be left behind.
Oh, banging our own drum wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, banging our own drum wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, banging our own drum wouldn't do us any harm, and we won't be left behind.
And we'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong. Yeah, we'll stay alive. Keep our spirits strong. We'll stay alive and keep our spirits strong, and we won't be left behind. Sorry about that. I'm just switching off another couple of things to make sure we're ready for the final video, which I am going to show you now. By summer 2020, we'd realised that our work would be online for the foreseeable future because of COVID-19. It had also become apparent that everyone would need digital skills to access the arts, now that online booking had become the norm. In October 2020, we therefore relaunched our art, photographers and filmmakers, and dance on screen clubs on Zoom, reducing them to an hour because that seems to be the maximum accessible screen time. You can find further details on how to join here. In November 2020, we launched our first online Disability History Month festival, and returned again with an online festival in 2021, our 10th annual Disability History Month festival. You can still watch recordings of the festival events and view the exhibitions. In summer 2021, we launched our first outdoor arts programme on Zoom, the Kitchen Carnival, working with Clary Salandy and creating a digital performance, Bats, for Hackney Carnival. Clary is the UK's leading carnival artist, and her work was prominently featured in the Queen's Jubilee pageant. Clary returns to create another digital performance with us this summer when the theme is Fancy Sailors, and there are already a wide range of activities that you can join in from home. Our Join In From Home programme also includes a wide range of activities linked to our club's programme. It also features Join In with Stera, whose films demonstrate inclusive and accessible arts activities. And Join In with Tracy, who shares inclusive crafts made using recycled materials. We embed the use of recycled materials throughout our club's activities now, so that participants are empowered to create and to carry on creating on their own, without needing to spend money or be given materials. In October 2021, we were proud to be shortlisted for Newham's Green Business of the Year, having already won the title in 2018 for our in-person work. We were also longlisted for the National Digital Culture Awards in the Being Social strand. So, what does the next 10 years hold for Together 2012 CIC? The outlook is currently uncertain, as I think it is for so many people. We know that we'll continue to deliver online because of the ongoing impact of the pandemic on our team, audience and participants, but also because the vast majority of the community-run venues that we've used in the past have now closed. We have Arts Council funding until next March, but still awaiting to see if we've been successful in the new funding round after that. Our lottery funding is about to expire, and due to months of delays in processing new lottery applications, we're only able to keep the clubs open this summer due to the generous support of Newham Council, for which many thanks. There's never been any national legacy funding available. As I said earlier, this is not the legacy that was promised to Newham by the government, GLA and London 2012 organisers. What we're determined to do is to continue to keep a lasting record of our achievements over the past 10 years, our Knit Your Own Legacy work, as we've called it. We've been working with National Archives to find a home for our physical archives, including artwork, and we're now liaising with London Metropolitan Archives about this. We will almost certainly apply to the National Lottery Heritage Fund to work with Eastside Community Heritage to organise and record some reminiscence sessions with team members, volunteers, audience members and participants to support this. However much our work changes in the future, the extraordinary achievements of the last 10 years and all of the hard work carried out by everyone concerned, including everyone who attends our clubs weekly, will not be forgotten. I'm now going to take some questions and contributions from the live chat. If you need to sign to us or you would prefer to ask a question directly, then put a request in the chat for us to promote you to panelist, and then you'll be able to switch your camera and microphones on. And I'm just going to ask Emily to look out for that. In the meantime, I'd like to introduce our chair, Julie Newman, our clubs programme leader, Alison Marchant, and our youth development worker, Kate Rollison. So they're just going to switch their cameras on and we're just going to spotlight them. And if you want to put your microphones on as well. So how did you feel looking back at all that, Julie?
Well, I suppose very humble, Sorry, I'm just adjusting this. There were some things I wanted to say. I mean, what would suit you, Ju, about when or how to say it?
You're the chair, Julie. So as always,
right.
It's wrong to say you have the floor, but you have the Zoom.
I shall take the Zoom. Thank you. There were some things that I really wanted not to forget. I am extremely humble looking at Ju's presentation of our work over the last 10 years. It's extremely, I don't know, it's extremely, humbling, prideful, whatever, to see how we have worked so successfully with so many people and continue to hold true to our founding beliefs. Together, I'm going to read this now because I think it's the only way I can remember it without stumbling over my words. Together 2012, of course, as we know, is a Paralympic Art and Cultural Legacy organisation in its 10th year. But more than that, and I think this is important, it is a legacy gifted to the London Borough of Newham by disabled people nationally. United Kingdom Disabled People's Council, formerly the British Council of Disabled People, was built on the principle of nothing about us without us, and firmly creating a premise of human rights and civil liberties as intrinsic to disabled people's independent living. We functioned as an organisation fully committed to the UN Convention on the Rights of Disabled People, which means basically that we believe that disabled people have rights to be fully engaged participants in civil society in every aspect of daily life. Now, Together embodies this to me. We're a self-led, self-directed disabled people's organisation. Over the years, we firmly held on to the belief that there should be no barriers to disabled people's access to all aspects of arts and culture. We recognise that many disabled people have been denied the opportunity to an education that includes arts, and in addition have either lacked the confidence, finance, or a range of other reasons to travel to the main centres of arts and culture. Initially, we were created on a wing and a prayer with very little money, but a massive amount of goodwill, and for that I'm still very, very grateful. In collaboration with local people, we've incorporated a programme of local engagement, which has been free to access, regular, and not restricted to any specific impairment group or medical condition. Open to all disabled people, their allies and families, freely given and consistent over the last 10 years. In addition, we've continued with an annual art festival show, disability film festival, and art show. We've worked nationally and internationally with emerging and established artists, and Ju's done a wonderful job of bringing them into our organisation and bringing them locally so that everybody has an opportunity to experience their creativity. Over 10 years, we've continued to aim for excellence, recognising that within our work, the standards for excellence need to be self-defined. We have a programme of supporting artistic development, which Ju touched on, led by herself as artistic director. Our staff and volunteers have consistently over the years offered high-level artistic practice within the challenging environment of recognising each individual endeavour and freeing ourselves from the concept of failure. That's really important to our work, and that's one thing I'm really proud of. Over the years, we've striven to be responsive and flexible enough to meet local demands, as well as supporting disability arts nationally and internationally. The last 18 months, as Ju has said, have demanded that we adapt and respond to an unforeseen crisis, the pandemic. I was extremely proud and continue to be extremely proud to be the chair of Together 2012. As a beacon, a continued beacon of creativity and endeavour, both nationally, locally and internationally, our Together family has stayed together, cried together when experiencing losses, laughed together with shared humour,
and kept strong together through some difficult times. I look back over the last 10 years with tremendous pride and look forward to a future where disability arts and culture will continue to grow and develop. Hopefully, in time, we will be part of a recognised mainstream arts movement. And when that happens, this little outpost in Newham will set a standard for disability arts inclusion everywhere. And that, in a nutshell, is what I wanted to say. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that. I'm so pleased that the council, London Borough of Newham, has stepped in and offered us this opportunity, because I think we are an important part of Newham's history, and we will continue to be so.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you for making the point, which absolutely we're Newham based, but we're a national organisation. And what we've always said is that everybody is welcome, but they just have to come here. And I think back in 2012, it was very much the case. If you wanted to go and see something, and particularly disability arts, you had to leave the borough. And what we said is, we'll make you very, very welcome. We'll provide for all of your needs and we won't charge you, but you have to come to us. And I think we saw that even online. We've still got people coming to us from across the UK, and I think that will only grow in the future. As you said, there's just so many things to explore in the archives, but that includes a 2-year project that we did, for example, with partners in Canada, funded by the British Council in Canada, doing very, very innovative work around sound and vibration technology. And that's a project, like most of our projects, that's ongoing and also has a future. But I'd like to just reintroduce Alison Marchant, who's our clubs programme leader, and Kate Rollison, who's our youth development worker, both international artists in their own right. Alison's had a journey from participant to volunteer to yes, senior management. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity, without putting you on the spot, to say anything if you'd like to say something.
No, yeah, I first got involved as a volunteer, as actually a participant, and I turned up for the poetry, pop-up poetry, and that was at the Hub, and you two were installing an exhibition, so I was helping with the exhibition as well. And because I was based locally in Stratford, a lot of the venues were very close to where I was, so I could easily pop round the corner and join one of the clubs. And then eventually this post came up and I applied for it with other candidates and was lucky to be successful. So I've been working for Ju ever since on the club's programme.
Well, I think we were lucky, and in fact, you know, Alison wasn't the first volunteer, and hopefully not the last volunteer to gain work with us, and I think that just shows the high quality of the many volunteers that we've had over time, and again in the future. I'm going to say a few thank yous in a moment, but we have got time, so we've got lots of congratulations. Wonderful statement from Julie Newman, says Margaret Spence of the Community Advisory Board. We also saw some of Margaret's artwork. Renee Wallen says she'll be singing the shanty until bedtime now, it's such a catchy tune. We can't actually take credit for the tune, that is the traditional tune, but we can take credit for the words. Rona Topaz says she loves the Paddington edition. Yes, we hadn't seen the royal family getting together with Paddington and being incredibly subversive, but Paddington is now, as indeed he should be, a wonderful symbol. So we're really sort of pleased that we've added Paddington, and so far at least nobody has told us to take it down again. The first video, We Are Three, Renee Wallen says, what a completely fabulous video, so dynamic and joyful. And I think that was also true. I mean, I just looked back and thought, oh my goodness, I'm glad I've got the archives, because I would never have thought that we did half of those things in 10 years, but you know, we did all of that and more. So it was great to look back on, and I know that there's some people here today, including Glory and even Karen Smith, who will also have spotted themselves at different times and perhaps have engaged with us more than they thought as well. So, and of course we saw Chris Burrow, our interpreter, pop up on numerous occasions, albeit also we do employ other access workers as well, but Chris has just been such a tower of strength to us over the years. Kate, did you want to say anything?
So I'm relatively new to Together 2012. I started working there in October, and it's just been such a joy. It's absolutely flown. This morning I was working with young people, with Eve, making donkeys for one of our upcoming sea shanties. And yeah, all I can say is it's been a joy, and it's been so wonderful to be part of this today, and thank you.
Well, that's really, thank you. I really appreciate that, Kate, because yes, Kate is the newest addition to our team, and we've been absolutely delighted to welcome her. I'm not very good at translating emojis, so I think I'm going to leave the live chat there and just, yeah, I think there's just time left for me to say some thank yous. In our first 10 years, delivering more than 2012 activities, hundreds of people have taken part in our activities. They've involved dozens of volunteers and access workers, and thousands of people have seen our work. We've had support from London Borough of Newham, Arts Council England, National Lottery Community Fund, People's Health Trust, and more. We've also had ongoing support from businesses, including Norden's Accountants, who've provided pro bono services, Stretch Media, I'm pleased to see Richard here today, Lend-Lease, Trinity Buoy Wharf, Davenport Estate Management, and others. We've had helpful advice, lots of it from East London Business Place as part of European funded legacy support for businesses, and from Newham Chamber and a range of chamber members. We've also had wonderful support from our Community Advisory Board, chaired by Jaspal Dani, and our non-executive directors, Richard Ireland, Mark Norden, and Alison Davenport. And of course, we couldn't have done it without our founding co-directors, Sarah Hughes and Georgia Drysdale. Paralympian Robin Surgener MBE and his family have also been involved from the beginning. I'd also like to pay tribute to Damien Robinson and Hazel Brill, our previous youth development workers, and Noel Guinan, who had to leave his post as engagement support worker for health reasons. And finally, I'd like to thank today's access workers, Chris Burrow and Julia Jacobi, Alison Marchant, our club's programme leader, Kate Rollison, our current youth development worker, my PA, Emily Welsh, who's been pressing virtual buttons for the last hour, and of course, our chair, Julie Newman, who has done so much to ensure that Newham had a Paralympic legacy we can all be proud of, and we can look forward to the next 10 years with great excitement. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. I don't know, James, switch on your camera if you would like to say a final word from Newham Heritage Month, or indeed to tell us about other activities and where people can find the details. And we'll just pop.
All right. Thank you very much, Julie. That was a really, really enjoyable hour. Really enjoyed the sea shanties, of course, and yeah, likewise, I can still hear it going round and round in my head, and I think that should last a little bit longer today. But yeah, thank you so much for being part of this year's Newham Heritage Month. People want to find out any more, they can go to www.newhamheritagemonth.org, and I'll put that link in the chat if they want to take it. Yeah, thank you very much for having us along today.
Thank you for that, James. So I would just like to wish everybody a great afternoon. If you're in East London, it's very, very warm. So be careful about going out in the sunshine, drink lots of water. And if you haven't been enjoying your lunch during this session, then, and you haven't had it already, then I wish you a very safe journey to the kitchen. Thank you again. It's another 10 years starting now.